Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Hendrika. I will be your guide throughout this channel and your adventures in Orchid. And today the episode would be an interview. Who are we interviewing? Me. So I'm going to be doing a little self-introduction about on the more personal side about how I began to be crazy about orchids, my beginnings, where I'm from, so a little bit more personal. All right. So yeah, I hope you can stick around, and I look forward to sharing with you a little bit more about myself. All right, so let's start with the first question. Well, I grew up in Singapore, and basically from my time as a child in the 80s, it was pretty fun. Yeah, I was brought up by my grandparents, but not totally, of course. But I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, who one side on the mom's side is Teochew, and then the dad's side is Cantonese. So it was an interesting balance of both dialects. I do speak Cantonese, I do speak Teochew, though a little bit rusty. But yeah, it's a fun time when, in Singapore, during that time, it was a lot more simple where, as a child, we go to the playground, climb around, run around. One of the things that I remember about my childhood very much was crab. My maternal side grandmother really, doted on me, and I love crab. So not every time, but very often she would get crab for me, or we'll go to the market to buy mud crab, sand crab, and from there I developed no fear for mud crab. I could just find a way to grab mud crab, without getting pinched. And then never really remembered getting pinched. So yeah, it was a fun time growing up in Singapore. As of current, I live in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. I work for myself in the landscape industry. So basically I do a lot of yard work, like some people say it's a glorified gardener, but I beg to differ. I basically do gardening with a lot of horticulture background and knowledge, and I don't just do the job. I look at the site to ensure that the client gets the best result from my service. And then one of the ways that I do is basically to give them more time to spend doing other things rather than doing the hard stuff in the yard. So yes, the name of my company that I work out of from is called Plant Visions, and yeah, I started that in 2012 when I was still living in Singapore. But that's another story for another episode. Well, I ended up in Brisbane because I wanted to study horticulture. Yeah, actually, from memory, all right, I wanted to do the degree in horticulture, and at that time, there were two universities that were advertising in Singapore. One was Lincoln, somewhere down south island of New Zealand. I think it's Christchurch or Canterbury Way, somewhere there. And the other was the University of Queensland. So during that time, I did apply for Lincoln. And then my mom was like, go and study in Australia. The New Zealand market is very small. The population is a lot less. It's cold. Why don't you check out Australia? There is more people. It is closer to home, to Singapore. So I was like, okay, let's go apply for it. And I got into both. I also chose University of Queensland was because my ex-wife also signed up to do a degree started to come here and study together. Oh, I need coffee. And yeah, I'm using this little place in Aspley called Little Fox Lane, and then yeah, they have a great plant room. I'm very thankful that they let me use the plant room to film this episode, because it's been raining for about 3 days and not so nice to go out into the gardens and the yard to film because it's very, very wet. So yeah, thank you. I am going to answer this question in another episode because it is an episode in itself. But let's just say, okay, I got into orchids is because fish culture means a tropical fish culture. New fish, the price was so high, much like how new aeroid prices are. And then over time, it just sinks and sinks and sinks. I got so fed up. And then when I saw orchids, I was like, oh, orchid is like a good business, a good industry, because orchid prices seem to be stable, and sometimes it even appreciates because of its rarity. So that's the short answer. There is a long episode coming up where I explain more. Yeah, okay, besides the price point, besides it being good business, I love the color. It's so colorful. The flower lasts a long time. And it's so diverse. So that's why I jumped into orchids, because I was amazed by things like Paphiopedilum, the slipper orchid, the pouch. Wow, it's so sexy. Cattleyas, some of them range from red round ones and big ones. Big is always wow factor. So therefore, I got really mesmerized by that. So I decided, wow, why not? And I think an orchid is the national flower of Singapore. The Papilionante Miss Joachim Agnes. Back then it was called Vanda Miss Joachim. Being in Singapore, and orchid seem to connect a lot because the orchid industry sort of like boom in Singapore. So I guess it is because of that I got influenced to be part of this industry. Basically now here in Brisbane, which is a subtropical climate, which is very cool because I'm able to grow a whole variety of things, but my main focus is basically Papilionanda, Papilionante, basically the Vandaceous genus, the sun-loving Vandas. I've recently became a bit crazy over jewel orchids. I don't know why. Actually, not that I don't know why. I'll explain to you why. It's because I'm actually very fascinated by the foliage anthurium, things like crystallinum, forgetii, all those with nice big veins, beautiful veins. But I don't have space. Do I want to spend the money to, buy these plants and kill them? And then I ask myself again, why? Why do I want these anthuriums? It's like I want to stay focused on my journey in orchids. And I begin to question myself. And in the end, the answer that I came up with was because I love the veins. The veins. We all, attracted by the veins, the shiny veins. So what would be a good, like substitute? Literally not a substitute, but literally is a substitute. Jewel orchid, because they have veins, they are varied in the veining pattern, they are small and shiny. So therefore I started becoming obsessed with jewel orchids. The other interest besides orchids, well, orchids do take up a lot of my mental headspace, is, eating. For some of you all do know that I am a professional ranked competitive eater here in Australia. I have a YouTube channel, and I love eating. The other passion that I have is in music. I love music. I love basically hard music, meaning like punk rock. Really love punk rock, metal, hardcore. I know it looks very deceptive when you look at me. It's like, what? This person here likes metal? Yeah, I do like metal. Recently, I haven't been doing it for a good couple of years since I had children. I hope to go back to it, but eating and orchid take up a lot of my time. It's actually, I have another one which is to collect scarves. Don't know why, but I find them to be a fascination and an amazing piece of art to collect. Basically, that's the three things outside of orchids that I'm passionate about. So, well, I guess that's it for now. I'm happy to answer any more questions that you have. Just put in the comment below. Yeah, just tell me what you would like to know more about myself. Any question about orchids, topics about orchids you want me to cover. So, thank you for watching. It'll be greatly appreciated if you could click the subscribe button and like. That helps because I'm really putting all my eggs into this channel, literally like focusing a lot of my time and effort to make this channel really good so that I could get the funding through YouTube to help me to go travel to different places out of Brisbane, to create content and also to interview people and growers out there. All right, so yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching till the end of this video. So I'm so appreciative of you being so interested and spending your time here. I'm Hendrika, signing off. Until the next adventure. Bye for now.